my god. Oh my god. Hey you guys, it's Megan. So I thought that I would do an update on my budget and different things that I have learned since the last time I updated you guys on my plans for my money, different like tips that I've learned, different like strategies that I've been using, and I just like to do these videos every so often. I have been getting some requests to do them, but I don't just want to do a video on this especially, but on really anything on my channel without really feeling like I'm ready to talk about it. So I feel like I'm ready to talk about my budget again, and things have definitely evolved since the last time I talked to you guys. I have like notes all over the place because I wanted to be really prepared, and this is something that has been on my mind a lot recently. I've been doing a lot of research, like reading different financial blogs. I might read like some magazine articles here and there, but that's rare. But I've just been really into seeing what experts like give as advice for young people to save for the future. I'm like really focused on saving right now. So I thought that I would just bring you guys up to speed on different things that I've learned so far and just chat with you guys. And of course, like, I'm no expert. I'm just a kid. Well, I'm not a kid. I'm 23. I'm trying to figure things out for my financial future and my financial present. And it's something I've never really thought about before, but I'm really happy that I am like interested in it, and I'm really focused on my goals. And that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about. Is I think that it's important to like have a conversation with yourself or have a conversation with your parents or someone that you trust to figure out what your goals are for like long term. I have like lots of savings goals that are more like short term, or different goals like that I would just want to reach at some point. But like the overall picture I think is really important, at least for me, to understand why do I want to save? Like what kind of lifestyle do I want? What like kind of security do I want for myself? And so I made a list of different goals that I have for myself, and it's going to be a very personal thing for each person to do. So I'm not going to share them with you guys, but it really helped me focus on why I am so invested in saving and why I'm so invested in like understanding where my money is going and what it's doing, and not just what I'm spending or whatever, not just right now, but in the future. And I haven't been at the company I'm working at now long enough to do the 401k, but in about 6 months I will be able to do that, and I am so excited to start saving for a 401k and towards retirement. And I never would, like 2 years ago, if you would have said like, oh, have you thought about retirement? I would have been like, no, like why would I think about that? But now it's not something that I think about often, but it's definitely something that I am aware of, and I know that I need to save starting now to be able to maintain a lifestyle for when I get older. And you know, you never know what happens. So I am really excited about when I'll be able to start putting money towards the 401k that my company will match, and it's free money, so that's really cool. I've been researching that some more since it is like coming up in the next half of a year, and I think that it's just going to be exciting for me to see how that goes. And it's just awesome to think about putting money aside now to help you in the future. So I really like that. Another thing that I did after reading different like blogs and websites, like financial websites, was having like certain percentages of your paycheck go towards certain things. So I have heard of this before, but I never really worked it out for myself. And so one of the things, like one of the like staple rules, I guess you would call it, is the 50-20-30 rule. And I heard of it, but I didn't really know what each percentage meant. So the 50% are to go towards necessities. So just split your paycheck in half and see how much that is. And so that goes towards like gas and groceries and your rent and mortgage and bills and all those things that suck, but that you have to pay for them usually on a monthly basis. or weekly for like gas and groceries. 20% goes towards goals. So that's a personal thing that you would decide. They gave examples such as retirement, like a new car, a new house, etc., etc. And then the last 30% is spending. So that's like spending money, going shopping, going out to eat, doing things that aren't necessary but that you want to do so you don't feel totally deprived. So just for fun, I decided to break down my paycheck into those different percentages. So I did 50%, a third of my paycheck, and 20% of my paycheck, just to see how much like that would be, because I've never really looked at my paycheck like that. Because you guys know I had a budget with like different like money amounts, like dollar amounts, but I never looked at it as like, oh, this is half my paycheck, this is a quarter of my paycheck, whatever. So I did that, and I wrote that all down into the categories that they recommended. And I am really fortunate that right now I don't have to pay a lot of bills. And sometimes it is kind of annoying to be living at home when you've already lived away for school, but it's really helping me save a lot. So I don't have a lot of these necessity spending like payment things. I don't have like tons of bills or anything, but I do have some payments that I have to make each month. So from the 50% that I figured out my paycheck, I put those bills and those different like gas and stuff like that, I took that out of that amount. And then for the rest of it, I'm putting it towards different savings goals. So another thing that I've done since the last time I've talked to you is I have different like savings accounts. I used to just have a checking and a savings. Now I have 3 savings accounts. So it really separates what, like where my money is going, and it helps me visualize what I have in the different categories. So my 3 categories for saving are short-term savings, long-term savings, and then my emergency fund. So for me, short-term savings includes my student loan payments and anything that I'm like saving up for personally. So I want to get like a new whatever, I'm gonna put money towards my short-term savings. My long-term savings, I want to move out, like you guys know, so I'm putting a lot of money towards that. And in the next like few years, like 2 years probably, I'll have to buy a new car, so I'm putting money towards that. And then an emergency fund. I read so many articles stressing the importance of an emergency fund, and so I really wanted to prioritize that. That was something I wasn't really putting a lot of money towards in my original budget. So I upped that amount per paycheck, and so I'm putting money towards that. And for my extra savings accounts, I did a lot of research to find what the best like APY, these are things I didn't even know what they were before, but like interest rates to get money back on money that you have in a bank. So the one that I decided after a lot of research, and it might be different for each person, but for me, the one that I decided was best for me is the BARCLAYS Dream Account. And it's a 1.5% APY, which is really good. I didn't really know like how much different things were, but a lot of reviews said that that was a really great interest rate. And then I also thought that this was really awesome if you have longer term savings goals that you really don't think you're going to touch that money, is if you put money into the BARCLAYS Dream Account every month for 6 months, you get a 2% like bonus interest. And then if you don't take anything out, if you don't withdraw from that account for 6 months, you can get an additional 2%. So it really encourages me to put money in every time I have like an automatic deposit from my normal bank account to these savings accounts. So I don't even have to think about it. The money goes directly there when I get paid, and it just really adds up quickly. It's added up so fast, and I don't even miss it. I am so happy to see that money going towards those savings goals, and it's just awesome. So like I said, I put a lot of that 50% for necessities into those goals because I don't have a lot of bills and stuff like that right now. So I'm gonna put that towards, I will have bills in the future, so put that towards like moving out and stuff like that for my long term. Then for the 20% for just normal goals, I put that towards my student loans. that is my number one focus right now. I have a personal goal to pay off my student loans in a certain amount of time, and so I'm really cracking down on those, and I'm going to be paying off another one next month, and that just makes me so excited. So that is my number one goal. So that 20% from my paycheck is going straight to my student loans, and I'm really happy to see me having to pay for not as many because there's like separate ones, and so I'm almost done with another one, and that just is really encouraging to me. So I don't want those to haunt me forever, so I'm really focusing on my student loans right now. That is like my biggest goal. And the 30%, which is spending, I don't have nearly that much for my spending. When I figured out how much 30% of my paycheck was, I was like, I don't really want to be spending that much per paycheck. And so I'm trying to limit that spending and then just have extra left over each month. And it's going pretty well. It's harder than it might be for some people because I was so used to just spending what I had, and that is a habit I'm really trying to get out of. So those are the things that I learned from doing the 50-20-30, and of course everyone's percentages will be different. I don't even know what mine actually are, but just seeing that really helped me visualize how much I want to put in each like different savings section, if you want to call it. I have my whole budget, of course. I like made out this whole spreadsheet and stuff, like you guys know, and I've been doing a lot like handwritten stuff. It really helps me to, I always do better when I handwrite stuff in school. That's how I would study. I would just rewrite things over and over and over. And so doing my budgets and doing all these things on actual pen and paper has, I think, helped me like realize that this is real, as opposed to just like typing out on a nice Excel document. Makes it kind of like this mythical thing that's like, oh yeah, that's a great idea, but it doesn't seem real. So this, I feel so much more confident in my budget now than I did the last time that I talked to you guys, and I think that I'm just so much more excited about it, and that's what it's all about. I think that if you aren't excited about saving and you don't have like goals and you don't want to like, I don't know, relieve yourself of the stress of whatever money was causing you before, like I have like a shopping addiction and I still shop a lot and it's a lot of fun, but I get so much more joy seeing it go towards my savings goals. And that is what I've really learned over the past few months, is that no amount of stuff could ever replace that feeling of putting that money into savings accounts and these different goals and paying off my student loans. It's like a big deal. So of course I'm still buying stuff because I would be like depressed if I wasn't, because I like to get stuff. It's fun to do it and to go out with your friends, and if you don't have it in your budget, then it's a lot harder right now, since I don't have a lot of extra payments that I have to do because I live at home. It's a lot easier for me, so that's why I'm really trying to save as much as I can right now, and I can buy a few luxury things here and there for myself because I don't have as many bills as people that live by themselves. So I don't know, I think that everyone's situation is very different, so sometimes I don't know how helpful my budget videos are, but I do get requests to talk about it more, so I hope that it's like helpful in some way. And my last thing that I've been doing, which I've done for years, but I've really been focusing on it recently, is to keep a constant wish list. So say, like we do, we watch people's videos, we see something awesome, and we're like, oh my god, well I have to have it because they said it was so great. So I write that down, at least I try to write it down. Or I write down something that I've been wanting that's just been stuck in my head. So I write it down, I have a little booklet, of course, I have like a notebook for everything, and I will go back to that like sheet, or I have like a note in my phone of different things that I want, and 9 times out of 10 I cross out those things. I have so many more things crossed out than I do like with a check mark next to it saying that I eventually bought it. And I just find that it really helps me make more thought out decisions, and it helps me only buy things that I really, really want. And I am gonna buy things, like I said, but I want those things to be things that I actually want to spend my money on, not just like impulsive things. I'm really trying to cut back on my impulsive spending, and I have done a really great job. I have some work to do still, but that's one of my biggest issues that I'm going to be constantly working on. But I do find that I have made leaps and bounds of progress since, I'll say 2 years ago. Even 1 year ago, I was not as good at focusing on what I actually want, and I realized that I would rather get a nice, like maybe more expensive thing than a bunch of cheaper things. That's just what I found for myself is what's best and what I think is worth it in the long run. So that's what I've been discovering about myself by doing the wish list and crossing out different things. It really helps me understand myself more and what I find value in. And I think that is what is most important about that, because you get to see, oh, well, maybe I don't want to really buy that because it's either it's too expensive and it's not worth it to me, or I've been really, really wanting a pair of Fry boots. Like, so bad. I need a new pair of leather boots, and I've always wanted Fry boots. So I did a ton of research, and I finally settled on a pair, and they were an amazing price on Amazon. So I bought those, and they didn't fit at all, and they were gorgeous. They were so, so beautiful, but they did not fit at all. And a lot of the reviews said that they like just were so difficult to get on and off even after a while of owning them. So it really made me think about, do I want these things that are very expensive, that look beautiful, but that are a pain in the ass? So I am really leaning towards not even buying a pair that might fit me, because they just seem like too much hassle for the money. So that is another thing. Like, if you have the money to buy something that you've been wanting, do it. But if it's not exactly what you wanted, return it. I pretty much only buy things from stores that have good return policies. Sephora has a great return policy. Nordstrom is incredible with their return policy. Amazon, I have Amazon Prime, so I don't know if that really makes a difference, but I did the boot return on Amazon, and it was so easy. I just had to print out a label and then ship it. So different places that I shop at, I really tried to understand their return policy, because I don't want to be stuck with something that was either cheap or expensive that just doesn't work for me. So that's a tip, that just a shopping tip that I think is really important, and that definitely saves you money in the long run, because you're not just holding on to things that don't work for you or don't fit right or aren't what you expected them to be. So I think that is it for this budget update, but I just love talking about this. Like, it just is so fascinating to me that I'm into like finance, I guess. Like, I always thought, oh my god, that sounds so boring. Like, in college, I never took any classes that had to do with finance unless I was required to take them. And now I wish that I did take more classes and learn about investments and stuff, because those are things that I don't really know much about. And all this stuff that I've been learning, I just like researched it myself, and maybe that's even better because I wasn't forced to learn it, and it kind of sticks better when you seek it out yourself and seek out that information because you want to learn about it. So I don't know, maybe this was helpful to you guys. Maybe you'll do the 50, 20, 30 thing and just break down your paycheck and see like what might happen with that. It really, really helped me to figure out my budget a little bit better and work it better to my goals and what I really want. So let me know if this was informative or anything for you guys. I hope that you do still enjoy these videos and that they're inspiring, or just, I don't know, maybe you just like hearing me ramble on about stuff. I don't know, you can let me know. But I really, really appreciate your time, and just thank you so much for being here. I seriously am amazed. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you really soon. Bye.